After many months of work and many press releases, this is what the site looks like today. Beehive of activity. At first, people weren't sure this was going to get off the ground, but now it looks like, yes, it will. And we plan to ask Bob today how far away it is from starting and how much gold will get out, be taken out, and finally, what did they do with the gold when it's removed? Well, we're here today with Bob Walish, who has a great history in Montana and Arizona and all over the world, and who originally is from Wisconsin, so naturally a Badger fan. But he's going to tell us about his new project. He's now president of Golden Queen Mining LLC. So good morning, Bob. Welcome to the Mojave Desert.
Thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Good. Now, what can you tell me about the progress of the project? Because we've carried numerous news releases, and Lutz has been all over speaking at the Rotary clubs and stuff. Yes. Where are we now?
Well, maybe I could show the drawing here.
Yeah.
This area, this is the general area of the ore deposit, gold deposit.
Yeah.
And this particular area is where we're starting, right here. It's called the Northwest area, Northwest Pit.
Sure.
As you probably know, this is a gold heap leach operation with silver credits.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that we have a leach pad, and we employ that method to extract the gold from the ore. Mm-hmm. That is right here. We're currently constructing that. We're constructing this part of it, mm-hmm. and expect by the end of the year to actually have ore on the leach pad and be processing it. The gold, the plants will be located in these areas. We collect the leach solution and use the Merrill-Crowe product. We first crush and screen the ore before it goes on the leach pad. Then it's irrigated with the chemical solution to extract the gold. And that solution is a closed circuit, fully contained, goes to a plant called the Merrill-Crowe plant, which is used to extract the actual gold. So we will be shipping gold doré, a mixture of gold, silver, and other metals from here eventually. Again, we expect to be into production, gold production, actually producing gold by the end of the year, or certainly no later than very early next year.
All right. And when you say produce gold, now does it come out as gold bars, or does it come out as...
Yes, it's what in the industry is known as doré, and that's a bar. We actually smelt it, or melt the gold, and of course we have all the safety precautions taken in terms of collection of any mercury that might be present. All of this is fully integrated into this particular process. But yes, we will produce a bar. It will probably not look gold per se, because there will be a significant amount of silver in it. So it'll be more of a gold color, but on the silver, more of a silvery color. But there'll be some other metals in it besides gold.
Okay, and now when I was in Zambia, I saw the copper mining, and the bars there were heavy bars. They were 100 pounds or 200, I don't know what. So are these bars smaller? Or?
Yeah, they'll be. They won't be that heavy, but they will be of significant weight. We haven't actually purchased our molds yet, so that'll determine, and some of this will be done based on our production level, but they may weigh up to 50 pounds.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so it won't be like the big sheets that you see in copper, the cathodes. It won't be that big, the big square or rectangular sheets, or the ingots like you would see in a copper operation, but they will be the shape of a bar, a loaf of bread.
Yeah, gold bar. Yes. Well, Bob, as you may already know, dust here in the Mojave Desert is a sensitive issue with everybody that lives here. So can you explain to me about the environment and dust control with the mine?
Yeah, absolutely. It's very important for us to have more than adequate dust control in both operations and during construction.
Sure.
Not just for our neighbors, but also for our employees. As you know, people will be working here 24 hours a day, and so it's very important that we view it as very important that we control dust. So what are we doing during construction? That's where there's where we're most susceptible to have incidences of dust.
Yeah.
So we employ during the area, especially in the clearing of the leach pad,
yeah,
we have employed water trucks, and we try and put the subgrade on moist, so that it's much less likely to have any problems with the dust. And same with the mixing area. So we do need a moisture in the subgrade, and so we use it, and that helps control dust. We also, of course, use water trucks extensively to keep the dust down on roads and other areas. Once in operation, we have full dust control equipment on our processing plant. During the crushing cycles that we will use, we have 3 stages of crushing, and each area will have and will be built dust control equipment to go along with that. Also, our stockpile between the second stage of crushing and the third stage will also be contained, meaning there won't be any emissions from the stockpile itself, which is often a source of
so the afternoon wind here wouldn't get to it and blow it.
Right. In the case of this stockpile between the secondary plant and the tertiary plant, if you want to call it that, the last 2 stages of the crushing.
Sure.
We right now but the stockpile between the primary and the secondary will employ other methods of including water sprays to control dust on that, as well as vacuum boxes.
Good.
After the tertiary stage, when we load the leach pad, that's where we have to wet the ore before it gets on the leach pads, so that we can get the chemical solution to percolate.
Yeah.
This in itself controls the dust. The moisture content could be as high as 7, 8, 9%.
Oh, sure.
And so it'll be quite wet, and there will obviously be no dust associated with that.
Sure, and you mentioned that you did a stint of duty in one of the driest places on Earth.
Yes, the Atacama Desert in Chile, northern Chile, and southern Peru. I personally worked in the Chilean part of that, and that is the driest place on Earth where people live. I think parts of Antarctica are actually drier. And so it's very important. There's a lot of dust control technology that's been developed to operate in that particular desert.
Oh, I see.
Chile also has very high standards for dust control.
Well, that's music to people ears that live out here, because the recent windmills and solar panels have been built in the desert, and originally started out, nobody thought too much about it, but the way what they were doing and stripping the desert proved not to work. And so now the Kern County Department of Planning and the developers have worked together to keep the dust to a minimum. So that's good to hear that you're aware of dust and everything.
Absolutely, it's very important in the mining industry. Very, very important to control dust emissions. We intend to be on the game, so to speak. We both in the mining process, roads associated with transporting the ore, and then in the crushing process as well.
Sure, and you were saying the health of the employees too. Silicosis, which traditionally has been a big problem in copper mining and underground and coal and stuff.
Right. No, that's our employees are an incredible asset to us, and this isn't worth doing if you're going to get hurt. So so for that reason, we will control dust within the process.
Sure, good.
There's a couple of, to the left of the windmills, there's a knob.
Yeah, okay.
To the left of that,
Yeah.
There's a kind of a single knob.
Yeah.
And above that,
Okay.
further to the left,
Yeah.
where there's kind of a flat spot, that's where we're starting the actual mine.
Okay.
That's the first phase.
Uh-huh.
The northwest area.
Yes.
You can kind of see one of the drills mass sticking up to the far left before the slope starts.
Right.
To the right of that, that's the area we're starting.
That's where we're going to go. Huh.
Down in the foreground, down from that drill, you can see the mast also sticking up. That's a crane. That's where the primary crusher will be.
Okay.
And the rest of the crushing plant will be below that.
Uh-huh.
This big area right in the foreground here, that's black plastic right now.
Yeah.
That's the leach pad.
Okay.
The first part of the leach pad.
Okay.
And we used, as a subgrade, we used some clay, natural clay, plus those old tailings.
Uh-huh.
And essentially, that's the pink stuff out there. You
Okay.
can see that we mix the clay with the tailings, and we reuse those tailings. They were a source of dust, and we'll essentially use almost all of them as we expand the leach pad.
Isn't
so we'll
that good?
remove that source of dust from the landscape, if you will.
Sure. And the little mounds of dirt, is that for pipes underneath?
Yes. That's to hold the little mounds are to hold the plastic down from the wind.
Oh, okay.
But you can see how it's being covered with an area. You see the cover being put on by the small dozers out there.
Yeah.
That will cover all the plastic, and on top of that we put the ore.
Got it.
So that's a coarser material that allows the solution to percolate through it.
Through it. Yeah,
so,
good.
and we make that right here with rock from the mine. You can see the stockpile over to the right.
Yeah.
That's where it's being made.
I see.
And of course, the pink tailings there. The next part of the leach pad will use those tailings to mix some more of the substrate.
To do it. So there's a lot of prep work.
Oh, tremendous amount. That's a lot of the cost of the project. It's the investment is $117 million. And the probably 70 million of it is involved in building the process.
Yeah.
There's about almost $20 million in mining equipment.
Sure.
70 or so is 65, 70 million is the process, including building the leach pad.
I see. Well, it takes people with guts to to see the future and persevere to get it done, I know.
Yes.
And it's good to see that you're almost on the verge of producing ore at the end of the year.
Yes. Correct.
Marvelous. Well, thanks for the brief tour, and hope to come back later sometime when you get going and
you're invited.
Cast that first ingot of gold. Always out here in the desert, people very concerned about the wildlife, the snail, the tortoise, and the birds and things like that. And so I've carried in the papers news releases about the permits that you've gotten, and I think it's pretty extensive.
Yes, we have. Yes.
Yeah.
Tremendously, fully permitted. The project has been years and years in permitting and analysis.
Yeah. And of course, being from Rosamond, and we have a brand new, because it's never been used yet, but it's 6 years old, wastewater treatment plant. The effluent out of Rosamond's about 1.2 million gallons a day, and the plant will clean 750,000 gallons with plans to double the size, expand it if it's needed. But using the water now is on people's mind in the midst of this drought because their lawns are turning brown, you know. And there was rumor that that water could be used here at the mine.
Yes, in fact, we have had a series of meetings with the district about this. Yeah. And very recently, less than 2 weeks ago, and we are currently studying and analyzing that prospect to see if it would work for us.
Sure.
So I can't commit or other than
nothing's set in stone yet.
Right, but we're analyzing it. That's correct.
And I suppose the big expense would be Like the oil people say when they came, it's the pipe's cheap, it's the digging that costs.
Yes, the installation of the facility, the conveyance, if you will, that's the cost. The water, very attractive.
The price, you mean, and stuff, yeah.
Very attractive, and the quality of the water too. Very, very attractive. But the it's the
study phase,
the conveyance that's the expense.
The study phase.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, water, you know, is what was it Mark Twain said? Whiskey's for drinking and water's for fighting over. Well, that's true out here.
Yes.
In the desert, where everybody's very sensitive about using the water in a good way, especially in a drought.
Right. We have obviously our irrigation methods for the leach process are very, very conservatory in terms of water. We bury all of to keep the solution closed. We'll be burying all the irrigation lines so that we absolutely minimize evaporation. And then the other part of it, which is related to the birds and whatnot, is that we have really no ponds in the circuit. We have a very large pond that would be used in case there's a massive rainstorm of some kind and for containment. But that's not part of the normal use of
catch
the
basin.
process.
I see.
It's an overflow pond, so that won't have water in it to any great extent at any given time, unless there's a big upset of some kind.
Sure.
And so we've minimized the amount of open water that we have associated with the process. And this, of course, would mean that birds would not be attracted to the area and get themselves into trouble, so to speak. So this is another conservatory type measure that we take in the design of the process.
So the environmental has been done carefully and
absolutely
step by step and brought to this point now.
Yes, much study. Yes.
And in the history of the Golden Queen mine, was it a producing mine or?
Yes, quite large. Actually, two different mines around the turn of the century on either side of the hill, so to speak, or as you look at the hill on the right and then on the left. There were two mines around the turn of the century. And then later in the 1930s until 1942, the Golden Queen did produce. That was that was underground operation. It's Goldfields was the name of the company, very famous gold mining company.
I see.
Still in existence. Produced gold up until 1942 when the law came around where Americans couldn't own gold and all gold mining was shut down because of the war. That's what closed the mine. And,
not the percentage of ore in the
it was related to the fact that the war production board or whatever they called it, they had a rule, and that shut down gold mining over the entire United States. And it really didn't return in any big way until 1973 when that law was revoked or changed. And that's when mining really took off. Gold mining took off in the United States was in the late 70s, 1980s. Because there were all of these dormant mines, if you will, that went back into production. This is one of them, in a way. But gold mining was very hard to do. You could mine gold after the war, but the price was pegged until 1973 at $35 an ounce. So even after World War II, that was very low, because gold price right now is, if you know, it's about between $1,150 and $1,200 an ounce.
And been up to $1,800.
Yes. So then this is reflective of our costs. You know, we are a gold mine, but there's a tremendous cost to producing gold as well. And so $35, even back in the late 40s and in the 1950s, that was just not enough money to actually make it profitable.
And what would this gold be used for?
Well, many reasons. I mean, financially, it's a hedge against. Many people buy gold as an alternative currency in a way.
Right. A hedge.
And so that's financial use is a big use. Jewelry is of course a big use. I don't know the figures right now, but I believe the U.S. Is an exporter of gold. I'm not positive of that, but certainly in the recent past, the U.S. has been an exporter of gold.
Sure. And semiconductor industry, I know, uses gold. And
yes.
For stuff like that, yeah. So, jobs for the mine. How many? I know a lot in construction, and
Right.
I'd be happy to hear the answer to that. But on an ongoing basis.
Well, right now, Golden Queen, we have 28 employees and growing. We hope by the end of the year, we anticipate we'll be in a position to have around 115 employees by the end of this year. By mid next year, 2016, we estimate and that we'll have about 150 employees by mid 2016, roughly. So all types of employees, and this is for the operation of the mine, not counting construction. There's probably, I don't know, at any given time, 100 people or so working on the construction. But this is after ourselves. We have 28, and we hope to be at over 100 by the end, 115 by the end of the year. This is mining jobs. It's equipment operation. It's drillers. There's maintenance people to repair both the mining fleet and of course, the process. We'll need operators of the process equipment, crushing and screening, and also more technical mineral crow process, and of course instrument type people, and also the operation of a leach circuit for piping and things like that. So there's quite a suite of job types that we need people to help us.
So these would be jobs somewhat similar, I guess, to the borax plant in Boron.
I would say yes.
Yeah, I see the trucks and stuff. I guess these are construction, but nonetheless, you're talking about.
Yeah, right here, right now we're constructing it, but that, of course, will be what's called a truck shovel operation. We have the front shovels and mining shovels and front end loaders with. Have 100-ton haul trucks is what we'll be using. Not the biggest, but not the smallest.
Right.
And maintenance is very important, of course, and so there's lots of
that too.
Maintenance.
So good news on the job front for East Kern here.
Yes.
And then pretty stable too if you're going to go 24/7.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Any idea how long the dig would last?
Yes, we have an official mine life of 12 years, but obviously we also will be now do and will continue to employ geologists, and one of their jobs is to extend that reserve. So, we're optimistic that we can find more gold to extend the mine life. But right now it's 12 years officially. That's what the economics are based on. But of course one of the main goals is to extend the reserve.
Good. Well, best of luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.